Inner peace decoded. Feel the calm you've been searching for. What if the peace you've been desperately searching for in meditation apps, self-help books, and endless therapy sessions have been hiding in plain sight, happening 23,000 times every single day without you even noticing? Right now, as you're watching this, you're doing the one thing that could instantly transform your entire reality, but you're completely unconscious of its power. Every single breath you take is either building the calm, centered life you dream of, or it's unconsciously creating more chaos, anxiety, and inner turmoil. Most people will live their entire lives never discovering this hidden key to instant inner peace. But today, you're about to unlock a secret that ancient wisdom keepers guarded for thousands of years and that modern science has finally proven to be real. If this resonates with you, or if you've ever felt like you're constantly searching for peace, but it always seems just out of reach, leave a comment saying, "I choose conscious breathing." And don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button for more life-changing content that actually works. Here's what nobody tells you about inner peace. You think it's something you need to achieve, something you need to earn through years of practice, something that only happens to other people who seem naturally calm and centered. But the truth is far more revolutionary and immediate than you could ever imagine. Inner peace isn't a destination you arrive at. It's a frequency you tune into, and the tuning device has been with you since your very first breath on this planet. Every unconscious breath you take right now is a missed opportunity to literally reprogram your nervous system from chaos to coherence in less than 30 seconds. Take a moment right now and notice your breathing. Don't change it, just observe it. Where's it coming from? If you're like most people, it's probably shallow, quick, and centered high in your chest. This is what I call survival breathing, the kind that keeps your body alive but leaves your soul starving for the peace it desperately craves. You've been breathing like a machine instead of like the sacred being you are, and this mechanical pattern has been unconsciously broadcasting stress signals to everyone within 8 feet of your body. But here's where everything changes. Ancient wisdom keepers from Egypt to India understood something we've forgotten in our modern world. They knew that breath wasn't just a biological function. It was the sacred thread connecting the seen and unseen worlds, the physical and the quantum, the human and the divine. The Egyptians taught that each breath contained the power to awaken different chambers of consciousness. The yogis discovered that breath could shift not just your inner state, but the very fabric of reality around you. They weren't speaking metaphorically. They understood that when you breathe consciously, you're not just moving air through your lungs. You're moving energy through existence itself. Think about this profound truth. Every emotion you've ever felt, every decision you've ever made, every moment of clarity or confusion has been accompanied by a particular breathing pattern. When you're anxious, your breath becomes fast and shallow. When you're at peace, it naturally deepens and slows. Your breath isn't just reflecting your state, it's creating it. Here's what will shatter everything you think you know about finding inner peace. You think you're in control of your thoughts, but you're actually their prisoner, and this mental prison is what's keeping you from the peace that's always been available to you. Most of us spend our entire lives believing we are our thoughts. We wake up in the morning, and immediately the internal chatter begins. What do I have to do today? I'm running late. I wonder if they liked what I said yesterday. I should probably check my phone. And we assume this voice in our head is us. But what if I told you that's not who you really are? Right now, as you're listening to this, I want you to do something that will change everything. Notice your breath again, but this time, don't try to change it, just watch it. Feel the air moving in through your nostrils, filling your lungs, then slowly releasing. As you do this, something remarkable is happening. You're becoming the observer of your breath rather than just the breather. Now, while you're watching your breath, notice what your mind is doing. It might be commenting, "This is interesting," or "I'm not sure this will work," or "When will this be over?" Here's the beautiful revelation that unlocks everything. If you can hear those thoughts, if you can observe them coming and going, then you cannot be those thoughts. You are the one watching them. This is the birth of the observer, the part of you that exists beyond the endless stream of mental chatter. And this observer is where your true inner peace lives. Think of it like sitting by a river. Your thoughts are the water flowing past. Sometimes the current is gentle. Sometimes it's rushing and turbulent. But you, the real you, are sitting on the riverbank watching it all go by. You're not the river. You're the awareness that perceives the river. In ancient traditions, they used the metaphor of the sky and clouds. Your thoughts are like clouds passing across the vast expanse of your consciousness. Some clouds are dark and stormy, worry, fear, doubt. Others are light and fluffy, joy, excitement, hope. But notice this crucial truth. The sky itself is never disturbed by the clouds. It remains constant, spacious, unchanged whether the weather is clear or stormy. This observer consciousness is your true nature, the part of you that has remained unchanged since you were a child, the part that will remain unchanged until your last breath. It's the witness, the awareness, the silent presence that has been watching your entire life unfold, and it's completely at peace. Your ego mind, that voice that never stops talking, wants you to believe it's in charge. It creates elaborate stories about who you are, what you should do, what others think of you. It lives in constant commentary about the past and anxiety about the future. But the observer lives only in this moment, in the eternal now where all real peace resides. When you begin to identify more with the observer and less with the mental chatter, something profound shifts in your entire experience of life. You stop being reactive and become responsive. Instead of being swept away by every emotion or thought, you can watch them arise, acknowledge them, and choose how to respond from a place of inner calm. This is where your real freedom begins, and the breath becomes your anchor to this observer consciousness. Every time you return your attention to your breathing, you're returning home to who you really are. You're stepping out of the drama of your thoughts and into the peace of pure awareness. But here's where this gets even more powerful. Hidden in the gap between your breaths is a sacred doorway that most people never discover. A place where time literally slows down and you can access a level of peace so profound it will change everything about how you experience life. Have you ever experienced a moment where time seemed to slow down? Maybe it was during a crisis, or in the arms of someone you loved, or watching a beautiful sunset. Those moments when time slowed down weren't accidents. They were glimpses of what becomes possible when you slip into the space between thoughts, between heartbeats, between breaths. In that suspended moment, you touched something eternal, something beyond the ordinary flow of time. You discover what I call the quantum pause. Take a breath right now, but this time, pay attention not just to the inhale and exhale, but to what happens in between. There's a moment, brief but profound, where everything stops. Your lungs are full, but you haven't begun to exhale yet. And then at the bottom of your exhale, another pause before the next inhale begins. These aren't empty spaces. They're sacred doorways to instant inner peace. Ancient Egyptian initiates understood this secret. In the mystery schools along the Nile, students were taught to enter these gaps with their consciousness. They called it dwelling in the silence of Ra, the space where the sun god rested between breaths of creation. In this quantum pause, something remarkable happens to your entire nervous system. Your usual mental commentary falls away. The constant stream of I should, I must, I need goes quiet. And in that silence, pure peace can crystallize. Not the desperate wanting of the ego, but the clear knowing of the soul. It's here that your deepest sense of calm stops being something you're searching for and becomes something you're experiencing directly. Think of this pause as the eye of the storm. All around you, life may be chaotic, demanding, overwhelming. But in this sacred space between breaths, you discover that perfect stillness that exists at your very core. Most people rush past these moments. They breathe quickly, thinking constantly, always moving toward the next thing. But when you learn to rest in the pause, when you can be comfortable in the space between what was and what will be, you discover that this is where all true peace lies. It's not about holding your breath or forcing anything. It's about learning to be present with the natural rhythm of your being. And in that presence, touching the place where inner peace meets infinite possibility. In the quantum pause, you're not trying to create peace. You're discovering the peace that was always there, waiting for you to slow down enough to notice it. But accessing this quantum pause is only the beginning. There's something deeper waiting to be awakened, and your body's been sending you signals for years that you've been ignoring. Those ignored messages are literally blocking your ability to experience the profound peace that's your birthright. That deeper awakening isn't found by reaching higher or thinking more sophisticated thoughts. It's discovered by traveling inward, by descending from the realm of mind into the sacred landscape of your body. Just as ancient civilizations built magnificent temples to house the divine, you must learn to recognize that your body is already a temple, but most of us have never learned to inhabit it consciously. The ancient Egyptians understood this profoundly. They mapped the human body as a living temple with energy centers corresponding to different chambers of consciousness. They knew that breath was the key that unlocked each room, revealing not just the peace within, but also the stories, traumas, and patterns that have been stored in the body's wisdom. As you begin to breathe more consciously, you might notice something interesting happening. Certain areas of your body may feel tight, constricted, or somehow unavailable. Your shoulders might carry the weight of responsibilities you've been shouldering for years. Your chest might feel armored, protecting a heart that learned to close after betrayal or disappointment. These aren't just physical sensations. They're biographical. Your body has been keeping score of your life, storing the emotional residue of every experience in its tissues. That tightness in your chest might be holding on to grief you never fully processed. The tension in your shoulders could be carrying burdens that were never yours to bear in the first place. But here's the beautiful thing about conscious breathing. It doesn't just reveal these patterns. It helps dissolve them, creating space for the natural peace that wants to flow through you. Each conscious breath is like gentle renovation work on your inner temple, clearing out old debris, opening blocked passageways, restoring the natural flow of peace and calm that wants to move through every cell of your being. Imagine descending slowly through the floors of your inner temple with each breath. As you breathe into your chest, you're visiting the chamber of the heart, the seat of love, connection, and emotional wisdom. As your breath moves into your belly, you're entering the chamber of power and intuition where your deepest knowing and most profound peace reside. With each breath, you're not just observing these spaces, you're purifying them, blessing them, reclaiming them as sanctuaries of inner peace. This isn't about perfecting your body or forcing it to be different. It's about learning to inhabit it fully, to honor the intelligence that's been guiding you all along, and to clear the energetic blocks that have been preventing your fullest experience of peace and calm. Once your inner temple is built, something remarkable begins to happen to everything around you. Science has proven that your breath creates an electromagnetic field that extends 8 feet from your body, which means you're unconsciously influencing everyone around you right now, either broadcasting peace or chaos without even realizing it. Research from the HeartMath Institute has shown that your heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends far beyond your physical body, and this field changes dramatically based on how you breathe. When your breathing is chaotic, shallow, or stressed, your field broadcasts that chaos to everyone within its reach. But when your breathing becomes coherent, deep, and intentional, your field becomes a source of harmony and peace that others can actually feel. Think of your breath field like the surface of a still lake. When you breathe from anxiety or rushing thoughts, you're like someone frantically splashing in the water, creating waves and ripples that disturb everything around you. But when you breathe from that peaceful center we've been cultivating, you become like a mountain reflected perfectly on the lake's calm surface, still, grounded, and magnetically peaceful. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt either agitated or calm without anyone saying a word? Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to carry peace with them wherever they go, while others seem to bring chaos? This isn't imagination. It's the breath field in action. We're constantly transmitting our internal state through the rhythm and quality of our breathing, and others are receiving these signals whether they realize it or not. Children are especially sensitive to these fields. They haven't yet learned to override their natural intuition, so they respond immediately to the energy we're broadcasting. This field effect extends to every interaction you have. When you breathe consciously before difficult conversations, you're not just preparing yourself, you're creating an energetic container of peace that can hold whatever needs to emerge. When you walk into your workplace centered in your breath, you're subtly influencing the entire atmosphere, making it easier for creativity, collaboration, and calm to flow naturally. The beautiful thing about understanding your breath field is that it shows you how connected we all really are. You're not just an isolated individual trying to improve your own life. You're a part of a vast web of consciousness, and every breath you take with awareness contributes to the overall field of peace and possibility on this planet. Here's the final truth that will transform everything you think you know about inner peace. The most successful people in history mastered one thing you've never been taught: how to access infinite power through absolute stillness. We live in a culture that worships action, that tells us more effort equals more results, that keeps us constantly busy, constantly striving, constantly pushing toward the next goal. But the field of consciousness that responds to your awareness operates by completely different rules. The field doesn't respond to how hard you try. It responds to how aligned you are. It doesn't care about your to-do list or your 5-year plan. It cares about your frequency, your coherence, your state of being. And the most coherent state of all is stillness. Not the stillness of exhaustion or giving up, but the dynamic stillness of a mountain. Think about a mountain for a moment. It appears completely still, yet it's tremendously powerful. It doesn't struggle against storms. It allows them to pass. It doesn't chase the sunset. It simply receives the light. Rivers flow around it. Seasons change upon it. It remains centered in its own presence. This is the kind of stillness that moves worlds, and this is the kind of inner peace that becomes available when you learn to breathe consciously. When you learn to breathe into this mountain-like stillness, something extraordinary happens. Reality begins to rearrange itself around you instead of against you. Opportunities that you could never have forced begin to appear naturally. People who can help you seem to cross your path at exactly the right moment. Solutions to problems you've been wrestling with suddenly become obvious, not through struggle, but through the clarity that emerges from profound inner peace. This isn't magic. It's physics. When you're in a state of stillness and coherence, you're no longer broadcasting the chaotic signals of desperation, control, or struggle. Instead, you're emanating the clear frequency of trust, receptivity, and alignment. The field responds to this clarity by organizing circumstances to match your peaceful state. Consider the eye of a hurricane. All around it, winds rage at hundreds of miles per hour. Destruction and chaos swirl in every direction. But at the very center is perfect calm, perfect stillness, perfect peace. From that center, the entire storm system is organized. This is the kind of stillness you can cultivate within yourself. Not the stillness of someone who has given up, but the stillness of someone who has learned to be the organizing principle of their own life through the power of conscious breathing. The difference between control and alignment becomes crystal clear in this stillness. Control tries to manipulate external circumstances to match internal desires. Alignment allows internal coherence to magnetize external harmony. Control is exhausting because you're fighting against the natural flow of life. Alignment is effortless because you're cooperating with it, and it all begins with how you breathe. When you breathe consciously, when you rest in a quantum pause, when you inhabit your inner temple fully, you're not trying to make peace happen. You're allowing peace to happen through you. You become a clear channel for the intelligence of the universe to express itself in your life as profound calm, centeredness, and inner harmony. This doesn't mean becoming passive or lazy. True stillness is incredibly alive, incredibly aware. It's the stillness of a master archer just before releasing the arrow, completely focused, completely present, completely at peace, completely ready for whatever emerges. From this place, your actions become effortless and incredibly effective because they're arising from alignment rather than effort, from peace rather than pressure, from trust rather than control. You've discovered that inner peace isn't something you achieve through years of practice or perfect circumstances. It's something you access in this moment through the simple, profound act of conscious breathing. You've journeyed through the sacred nature of breath, discovering that those 23,000 daily breaths are not mere biological functions, but opportunities for conscious creation of inner peace. You've awakened the observer within, that eternal part of you that watches thoughts like clouds passing across an infinite sky of pure awareness. In the quantum pause between breaths, you found the sacred doorway where peace crystallizes from possibility into lived reality. Through building your inner temple, you've learned that your body is not just flesh and bone, but a living sanctuary capable of housing the most profound peace you've ever experienced. You've discovered that your breath creates an electromagnetic field extending 8 feet around you, making you a constant broadcaster of peace or chaos to everyone you encounter. And finally, you've touched the profound truth that the most powerful action is often no action at all, the dynamic stillness that allows reality to reorganize itself around your coherent presence of inner peace. There will be moments when the world pulls you away from this peace, when emotions cloud the lens, when thoughts spiral, when life feels overwhelming. In those moments, remember that the shortest path home to inner peace is breath. 3 conscious inhales can bring you back to the observer. 1 pause between breaths can reconnect you to the quantum field of infinite peace. A single moment of stillness can restore your inner temple and return you to the profound calm that is your true nature. This isn't about perfection. It's about returning. Each time you remember to breathe consciously, you're not just improving your day, you're reshaping your reality from the quantum level up. You're becoming a living demonstration that consciousness, not circumstance, is the true creative force, and that inner peace is not a luxury reserved for the few, but a birthright available to anyone willing to breathe with awareness. The peace you've been searching for was never hiding. It was breathing with you all along, waiting for you to slow down enough to notice, to care enough to cultivate, to trust enough to embody. Now you know the secret. Now you have the key. The question is, will you use it? Will you choose conscious breathing? Will you step into the peace that has always been yours? So breathe, not just to survive, but to thrive. Not to escape, but to embody. Not to control, but to create. The breath is the key. You are the door. Step through into the inner peace you've been searching for your entire life. It's been waiting for you all along.